So it's starting to get cold here in Alaska, and before the snow hits, I want to get a remote starter installed. However, unlike a lot of other Ford vehicles, like the last generation F-150, on these 13th gens, so 2015 to 2020, the remote start system uses a completely different module and wiring to use the key fobs that have the remote start button on them. So if your key fob looks like this, there's a good chance that in order to install remote start, your best course is to using an aftermarket one like this. Now, there's a few benefits to that. The first one is that this module is relatively inexpensive. This one was $99, so $100. And then there's also a version of this that actually does the programming in the module for you as well, so that you can have the menu for the remote start in your dash, or it says in the dash, but what it means is in a speedometer menu in the instrument cluster. So this is the one that was $99. I'll link it in the description. And just so you know though, if you have Forscan and you feel like up to the task of editing Forscan, all you need is the one that's just the cheaper version for $100. But if you don't want to do stuff with Forscan and do the programming with your computer, then you can get the one for, it's like 20 or 30 bucks more, where it says, I think it says like controls in the dash or something like that. And like I said, that just does all the programming for you. But this is the most basic kit. So all this comes with is the T-harness and the other connectors, and then it comes with this little black box module. And this is all that's in the kit. And when you get it all set up, you're going to be able to use your key fob as just like lock, unlock, lock, and then it will remote start your vehicle. So the other things we're going to need is, if you are going to try to program it yourself, you're going to need a laptop with a scan tool that's for your USB into your computer, and that will let you access that. The other thing is, you're going to want to make sure that you have a hood switch. So in order to check if you have a hood switch, there's a couple ways. First, we're going to turn on our car, and we're going to let it start up here for a minute, and then we're going to pop the hood. Don't want that. We're going to pop the hood and see what if it says the hood is open. Okay, so see right there, it says hood ajar when I pulled the hood. That means we have a hood switch. So next thing we're going to do is actually install the module in the harness. So if you look at this, this is a male and a female end of the OBD2 harness plug on the back side, not the front side. We need that still open to use our scan tool. So we're going to disconnect it back here and then install this, which will give us these 2 extra little plugs that are going to plug into our module. So we'll get to that point. All right, so here's our OBD2, and then behind it, there's a plug and a little button on the underside right here. So just push it in and pull it out. There's that button right there. And so right now our OBD2 is not plugged in, but we're going to take our T harness and we are going to plug one side in to the body side and one side into the OBD2 side, like that. So now our OBD2 is now back connected, but we have access to these 2 additional little connectors. So now we're just going to follow the instructions, which are extremely simple. So I'll just do this real time with you. And I think I might need to have my key on hand if it's like the last one I did in my Explorer. So, all right, so now what it says is press and hold the programming button right here on the side. And with our finger still holding it down, we're going to connect the black connector. Then the light should start flashing. Okay, it's on blue. And once it's only on blue and no other colors, right there, we let go. And now it'll stay blue. And then now we're going to insert the white connector. And it says that if it did not stay blue, that we need to redo that step, but it stayed. So now we're going to connect the white connector. And then now we're going to turn the ignition on. So if you have a push to start vehicle, you're just going to push the start button once without pushing on the brake. But we have a key to turn our key on vehicle. So I'm just going to put our key in, the ignition. I'm just going to turn it on, and now the blue light turned off, and it's the red and yellow light we're turning on. It says wait let's see, wait up to 45 seconds until the blue LED starts flashing. So now we just gotta wait till the blue LED starts flashing, and then we'll turn the ignition off, and all LEDs will turn off. Okay, it's flashing, so I turn the ignition off, turn the ignition on, and the yellow light should turn on, and it does. Wait 5 seconds, and then all the LEDs should turn off. Oh wait, no, I gotta turn the ignition off. Wait 5 seconds, then turn the ignition off. Okay, all the LEDs are off. Okay, now this is supposed to be programmed now. So I'm just gonna leave this dangling right here for now until we make sure everything's working. All right, so now that we've got everything installed, we are going to do the module edits for the remote start menu in the actual speedometer cluster. And to do that, we're going to be using Forscan. Now, once again, you don't have to do this if you paid for the more expensive version that says like with controls in the dash or whatever it says on the Amazon listing. But in order to do this, we are going to use Forscan. If you don't know Forscan very well, or you've never used it, I have a whole video on how to get set up with it, how to get a license and how to get the cable and everything. So go look at that video, but I'm just going to go ahead and move ahead as if you were already up to date on all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn our ignition on. And then I'm going to connect. And so I've clicked on this tab up here with the car. Now I'm going to click the connect button down here. It says ignition keys in the on position. Okay. Now at this point, it's going to be reading all my modules. So you'll see it, a little check mark here with each one of these modules that it reads. And then when it's all done, it will say ready. Right now it says reading vehicle info. Now it says ready. So now we're going to click on this module chip right here, this little tab on the left. Now we're going to go down to IPC, and we're going to go to module configuration, but not the as built. And we're going to hit play. Now these are all the different menu items or different little attributes of our instrument panel control. And so we are going to find the one that is remote start. So I'm just going to type it in this little search bar up here. It says remote start enabled, remote start climate settings enabled. So I have actually already gone in here and enabled these, but I'm going to enable driver seat because I'm going to try to hook up the heated seats here soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then I might as well do it with the passenger seat as well. Now I don't have rear defrost, and so I'm just going to leave that off, and steering wheel, I don't have steering wheel heat. So we're going to leave that off. Now we're going to go ahead and write, which is down here in this bottom left corner. I'm going to hit OK. Now yours probably said remote start disabled and the climate settings disabled. So you would want to go ahead and enable those. Like I said, I already did this. I'm just kind of demonstrating how to do this. Then we are going to disconnect. So you come down here and you click this little stop button. We're also going to come into the body control module after we've disconnected from our IPC. So we hit that stop button in the IPC. Then we're going to click on body control configuration, not the as-built. Then we're going to hit play. It's reading our body control module, and we're going to type in remote start. And if it is not enabled, change it to enabled. So you'd click on it and turn that on. Now you can adjust the remote start duration, how long it's on. I have it set to the longest 15 minutes because it gets like -20 out here. So sometimes you want it running. You can change this if you want the parking lights on or off. And it's got all these different little settings having to do with remote start. So I'm not going to change anything here, but if you changed anything, you would come down here and click write. And it's telling me that there's no changes because I didn't do anything. And then we are going to disconnect. So hit that little square button. Next, we're going to go into our FCIM, and we're going to hit play. And then we're going to type in remote start, and we're going to enable that one too. And then we'll click write. Okay, and then we'll disconnect, hit the stop button, and then we will come up to the vehicle here and hit disconnect right here. disconnect from vehicle. So now that we've disconnected Forscan, we should be able to go into our menu here. We'll go to settings and we'll go to advanced settings, vehicle, remote start. We'll go ahead and do climate controls, auto, and then seats, auto. I'm going to turn them off for now because I don't have it hooked up yet. And then let's go down to duration. I've got it set for 15 minutes. Cool. And then you could literally disable it right here, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so now it's all set up to go. So let's test it. All right. So now all we got to do is hit lock, unlock, lock. Now we'll just wait a minute. Got to let module do its thing. And there you go. Now there's two ways to turn this off. You can do that again, or you can just open it up and push the foot brake. But we'll try it. We'll do lock, unlock, lock. Turns it off. Perfect. So now when you, let's try it again. It might not do it now that we've done it twice in a row. It might honk at us. We'll see. Sweet, it worked. So now we can unlock it. Now if we come in here and put your foot on the brake, it'll shut off. Or you can just put the key in the ignition and turn it without hitting the brake, and then the car will be on as normal and you'll be good to go. So the last thing to do is take the zip ties they provided us and find a good way to tuck this all up in there, but I'll do that off screen. Shouldn't be too hard. Hope this helps.